Namaskar. We welcome you to the 28th episode of the series Udyamita Ki Or. The series is an initiative by the National Center for Innovation in Distance Education, IGNOU. The program aims to foster a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship among the students and faculty at the university. The episodes carry discussions on various entrepreneurial opportunities available in different sectors by the experts. Each episode provides information about the existing innovations and startups in a particular area, the entrepreneurial opportunities, and the funding resources available. So far, we have had discussions on innovation and entrepreneurship opportunities in various sectors including food processing, waste management, healthcare, tourism, environmental studies, urban planning and development, geographical sciences, biochemistry, e-commerce, fintech, agritech, and edutech. In today's session, the topic of discussion is entrepreneurial opportunities in the area of rural tourism. For the discussion, we have with us Professor Paromita Suklavidya. She is professor in tourism management in the School of Tourism and Hospitality Services Management, IGNOU. She has more than 20 years of teaching experience in the field. Her areas of interest include tourism marketing, special interest tourism, rural tourism, heritage tourism, event management, cruises, and crisis management in tourism. She has been actively involved in many initiatives in the area and has published many papers and articles in various research journals. We are pleased to have you with us in this session, Professor Paromita.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sujata. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. The tourism industry is considered the largest industry in the world, as it plays a significant role in the economic development of the country. In recent years, there has been a notable shift as various forms of rural tourism entrepreneurship have emerged. In India, rural tourism entrepreneurship involves businesses that offer local products and services to tourists, focusing on the exploration and experience of rural life and culture while utilizing local resources and skills. Rural tourism has created numerous opportunities for private entrepreneurs. In areas where agriculture is the only source of income, it provides alternative opportunities to the farmers and local people, thus enhancing their economic prospects. Rural entrepreneurs play a crucial role in introducing innovative local products to the broader industry, which stimulates regional development and the growth of local market products. This contributes to overall economic development and provides a boost to the local entrepreneurship. The essence of rural tourism lies in offering visitors personal interactions and a tangible connection to the human environment of these areas. It also aims to provide opportunities for guests to engage in the activities, traditions, and lifestyles of the local community. In addition to accommodation, the services offered include events, festivals, recreational activities, and the production and sale of handicrafts and agricultural products. The Indian government has recognized the potential of rural tourism and launched various initiatives to promote it. Schemes like the Swadesh Darshan scheme and initiatives by the Ministry of Tourism aim to develop infrastructure, improve accessibility, and promote lesser-known rural destinations. An entrepreneur and innovator acts as an agent of change, and rural tourism is one area where modern entrepreneurs can play a vital role. By making innovative use of resources in rural areas, they can develop rural tourism services and promote non-agricultural employment. Focusing on sustainable practices and leveraging local resources can lead to successful ventures that benefit both the local community and attract urban customers. The key factors for success include a willingness to take risks, the ability to form an effective team, creative skills to utilize resources effectively, and the vision to recognize opportunities. For this, rural tourism areas where agricultural activities exist need to be analyzed from the point of possible risks, potentials, and challenges. It is necessary to identify the gaps to determine the areas where there is tourism potential and how rural areas can benefit local communities. Let us discuss more about this and learn from our expert. Professor Paramita, please tell us more about this upcoming area of rural tourism.
Thank you, Dr. Sujata. I liked what you said about tourism, and I always would like to start with the fact that even in the recent studies and the recent statistics that we have, it has always been mentioned that tourism plays a very important role in the process of employment. 1 in every 11 jobs belongs to a tourism industry and tourism professional. And tourism is one of the largest industry to provide employment to people across the board. Rural tourism, as you speak of today, is I cannot say it's a upcoming area. It has been in the process for some time now. At this point of time, it has become a point of attraction to most of the people. And rural tourism per se is very important for India, where more than 60% of the population stays in the rural area. So let's start with what identifies or separates rural tourism from other forms of tourism. As the name suggests, rural tourism, so it reflects the geography of the equation. So any tourism activity that takes place in a rural setup, in a rural geographical area, is referred to a rural tourism activity. So as we were talking about earlier, there are many aspects of rural tourism activity that happens. First and foremost, you spoke of handicrafts. Yes, that is one aspect of rural tourism. Rural tourism also gives you opportunity to interact with the tourist, tell them about your culture. Authenticity of retaining your culture takes place due to rural tourism. And at the same time, there is also a learning experience, exchange of ideas between the visitor who probably comes from an urban setup and visits a rural setup for the first time, and there is an exchange of ideas and learning between the two people, one from the urban setup and one from the rural setup. And most importantly, as you have already mentioned, Government of India is promoting rural tourism for 2-3 reasons. Primarily, of course, it's a very good way of providing employment, importantly self-employment to the people in the rural areas, so that we see a change in the migration pattern. We have seen people from a rural area migrating to urban areas looking for jobs. So if we are able to create jobs in the rural area itself, the migration process will probably be stopped, and the best ideal situation would be where we see reverse migration, that the rural setup is doing so well that people who have left the rural area to move to urban areas, they do a reverse migration and go back to their rural setup. That is ideally situation that we are looking forward to. Secondly, this is government is also promoting rural tourism for the reason that we have to maintain the authenticity of our culture. Authenticity and preservation of the culture happens when we see that there is a value to it. If somebody from another part of the country of the world comes and appreciates what we have, we also have a motivation for preserving that authenticity, that culture. So it gives us a chance to promote our culture. So that's how rural tourism plays a very important role. And yes, very important, rural tourism does not only mean interacting with the customers and guests and dealing with them on one level of being a host and guest. There are many activities that take place in the rural tourism area, the platform of rural tourism. So it gives ample opportunities to people with diverse ideas to indulge in one of the activities and provide employment for themselves and give an experience to the guest. So it's a multi-structural level where rural tourism plays a role, and that's why it has become so attractive both for the providers, service providers, that is the host community, as well as for the tourists, that is the urban dwellers primarily who visit these rural areas. So yes, rural tourism has become a focal point at this point of time, certainly.
So you were talking about many activities and forms coming under rural tourism. We have been hearing of terms like agri-tourism, cultural tourism. So you could you please reflect
Yes,
on some
yes.
of these terms and
Yeah, we have been using this terms synonymously and interchangeably for a very long time. We use agri-tourism, farm tourism, rural tourism, but when you look deeply into it, they are actually not same. They are similar but not same. When I say that there are various activities in rural tourism, we can say that rural tourism is a big canvas. So within this canvas, based on what is very important or which is very prominent in your village, in your rural setup, you do that activity more. So you first spoke of agri-tourism. Agri-tourism has been promoted aggressively in Maharashtra. Let me give you an example. That is, sorry, that is Agri-Tourism Development Corporation, ATDC, that is being of the founder is Pandurangaji, and he is the national awardee. He has received many national awards from Ministry of Tourism for providing an opportunity to the people of the villages, rural areas of Maharashtra. See, in the rural areas of Maharashtra, we have heard of so many famine and drought because of lack of water and other reasons. And long back, people had only one way of earning money, that is through agriculture. So agriculture was very important part of their livelihood. In comes Mr. Pandurangaji, and Pandurangaji started this concept of agri-tourism, in which tourists visit these villages and they take part in this agricultural activities, which is primary portion of rural tourism in Maharashtra, and they also take part in the village ways, the village lives that is happening there, and due to which they do a lot of activities therein. So agri-tourism is part of rural tourism, and it happens in those villages where agriculture plays a very important role. So in what happens in these villages where this ATDC works, people come and they take part in the agricultural activities. They will probably tend to the animals who work in the fields, like milking the cow or taking care of the oxen who work in the fields. They will probably come with their children who have never seen how a vegetable is grown or how the wheats are harvested. So they work with the villagers in plucking or taking out the onions, whichever way you say it, and work in the fields with their children, or the corporate team comes as a team building affair. And in this way, where agriculture is a primary activity, they do that. Similarly, you also have the concept of farm tourism, which is seen more popularly in the area of Punjab and Haryana. In Punjab and Haryana, farmers have large land which they have got their own farms, So it is within the village, somebody would be there who would be having a large farm. Maybe the farm is on the outskirts of one village to extending to the outskirts of another village. So a tourist comes and stays within that farmer's farm and learns about the daily activity of the farm and how things are happening in the farm. So the farm is a very important aspect in this part of the country. So that is how the farm activity happens. When we go to Sikkim, we see that rural tourism happens in a different way. In that case, some villages come together and they offer homestays or they offer cottages, and that's how they come and go for nature walks and all. We have two very prominent villages like Pasatanka in Sikkim, which has done very well in initial years. That was one of the rural tourism awardees. Then when we come to other parts, like one state which has done exceptionally well in rural tourism is that of Uttarakhand. So when we see the village of Uttarakhand, in this we see that a lot of nature-based activities also take place. A lot of trekking, because they have the hills, right? Trekking, camping, and we have so many organizations which work there in Uttarakhand in promoting these activities, like Village Ways, Bakri Chhap, Munsiari has a women's group, Matri is there, and there are many such. Sarmola is very famous in Uttarakhand, and they are all villages which has promoted different activities in the form of rural tourism. So these are all activities that we take part in rural tourism.
Then there is also cultural tourism, where
Yes.
it gives a close connect with the local traditions.
See, that is where I have to tell you that when we usually speak of tourism, we speak of 5 types of tourism, major types, and then different types of tourism come out of that only. Like cultural tourism is one, visiting friends and relatives is one, business tourism is one. So there are 4 types of major tourism, and cultural tourism is one of them. Within cultural tourism, we have the rural tourism. Because in rural tourism, we are promoting and we are preserving the culture and authenticity of the rural life, the culture and authenticity of the region that the rural village or the rural setup is from. So it is a part of the cultural tourism activity. And one very important thing which separates rural tourism from every other thing is, in rural tourism, the village life is experienced by the tourists. The tourist comes to the village and experiences the entire village. He is not restricted to only one part of the village. Maybe depending upon how the village is working out in the rural tourism aspects, they can work in the farm. They can. There are some specialized tours in which tourists are allowed to learn how to do pottery. There is one organization called Spiti Ecosphere, in which you get a chance to work as a volunteer in the rural tourism area, and you go and volunteers have gone there and built greenhouses for the people staying in the hills where there is less sunlight during the winters. So with the greenhouse, they can grow their vegetables. So in this way, volunteer tourism has also become a part of rural tourism activity. So basically, rural tourism does not have only one activity of agri-tourism or farm tourism or nature tourism or adventure tourism. It's an amalgamation of a lot of activities which gives the tourist a chance to experience the rural life, which also includes, the cultural aspects such as dresses, music, food.
Does
all these
adventure
things.
also part of this, form a part of this, or is it a separate?
See, adventure can happen as a part of rural tourism activity also, and it can happen as an adventure activity also in an urban setup or semi-urban setup. Right? Adventure sports or adventure tourism is a sect in its own self, as it's a type of tourism that happens. And in a rural setup also, we can have adventure tourism as one of the activities, and it can be a soft adventure. Like many people go to rural setup to do fishing and angling. So we do not understand that angling and fishing is a part of adventure sports. And in rural setup also it can happen. It can happen in a completely nature based setup, and it can also happen in semi-urban setup. It's an adventure activity depending upon in geographical region it is taking place. We can call it a rural tourism activity, or we can call it a urban activity.
So, though you have spoken about various activities which can be taken up as part of rural tourism, could you please highlight some of these activities? Visits to farms and other agricultural pursuits is one such activity, and nature hikes and strolls. Then you spoke about hunting and fishing. So, what else can be part of the activities which form part part of the packages or tours which are offered to the tourists?
Yes, I can speak about that, but first let me clarify one thing. Hunting is banned in India. So you cannot go for rural tourism activity with hunting, right? It's we cannot hunt wild animals in India. So it's fishing. You can go for fishing, and angling is trout catching, and all those things can happen. So yes, we can go for fishing, and you can go to a village to learn how to look after animals. There are packages in which you learn how to do the farm work. Farm work may include looking after the animals of the farm, including chicken, cow, pig, whatever is there in the farm. And if you are going abroad and you are going to a ranch in Texas and all, you may also be asked to look after the horses. So depending upon which part of the world you are going for a rural tourism activity, the activities vary. If you, as I said, you can go for soft tracking, or you can go for hard tracking, like mountain climbing of a different altitude, can also take place. You can have overnight camping that happens. That is also part of this. Uh, Cultural, when I said cultural, that also includes there might be some important monuments, there might be some important temple in and around the village, which has some spatial relevance to the villagers. Uh, Going there and taking part in the activities of that can also be one of the facts.
Even the events and the festivals which are
Yes,
organized at
that's
specific timings.
Yes, I was going to talk about that also. If you are going to Kullu villages and you want to take part in the Kullu Dasera, you can do that. That is one of the things. And I wanted to speak about this. There are also villages which create their own activity to attract tourists. I'll give the example of Bakri Chhap again, which is a prominent NGO that works in the Uttarakhand area. They created a concept called Bakri Swayambar.
Okay.
Yes, Bakri Swayambar has now become very popular. See, the concept here is due to inbreeding of the goats, the fertility of the goats had decreased. So, in the hills, within the same village, the inbuilt breeding was happening so much that the goats had stopped giving as much milk as they should have. So people were only taking care of the goats to as a one-time investment for the meat. So the concept of Bakri Swayambar came from the founder, Mr. Rupesh Rai. What happens in this case? They take the hills only. The goats in different hill villages, they are brought together in a place for Bakri Swayambar so that the inbreeding stops and the goats of one hill village is mated with goats of another village of another hills. So what they are very particular about is that if the goats are coming from the hills, they should be mated with the goats coming from hills. If the goats are coming from plains, so they should be mated with goats coming from plains.
Okay.
And they consider it basic science. They means experts, not the NGOs concerned. So with this concept of Bakri Swayambar, tourists actually started coming to the villages to see this Bakri Swayambar. So with one event which was created out of necessity, it became a tourist event. And now this event has become a major tourist event and people visit these villages because these villages come to one place and it is accessible. So due to this is also an event or a fair and festival. Come to think of it, we say Pushkar fair. Pushkar is actually a fair of villages, right? It's a camel trading place. So people have now started, because Pushkar is now become a semi-urban or urban area. But initially it was a rural area where this camel and
fair.
goat and everybody was being exchanged. Animal fair, right? So that's how we have events and fairs and festival like Kullu, I said, which happens and people travel to these places to take part in these events. So yes, there are many such activities. I am just pointing out a few of them. There can be many such activities that happen.
Even
when people
there
travel.
could be activities related to handicrafts also and art.
These are specialized tours
Artisans.
that happen in which they give you a chance to learn pottery. You go to a place which is very famous for handlooms. Like I saw Village Way Village, in which it's founder is Manisha Pandey and her husband. So I saw one of their profiles in which they speak of a high altitude village where they have ships and all with wool. So they teach you how they extract the wool, and from the wool they create thread, and from the thread they make different articles. So if you want to stay and learn, you can do that. Otherwise you can experience it and come back. So very importantly, one point I missed out, one of the reasons rural tourism is becoming so important today is it is an experiential event. You know, nowadays we do not want to go and look at a place and come back. That was something we have done in the past, mass tourism. Now it is all about participatory. It is all about experiential. We want to come back and say, oh, we have tasted such a beautiful thing. It was an experience in itself. Okay, it was an activity there and I participated. So it is all tourism activity is now about experiential. It is not about speed. it is about experiencing, it is about immersive tourism. You immerse yourself and learn it. So rural tourism is one such aspect of tourism in which you can immerse yourself, you can experience it. So experiential tourism is the buzzword these days, and rural tourism fits the bill.
So we have discussed about rural tourism and how entrepreneurship is taking an important role in that. What are some of the advantages which you can see in this area because of entrepreneurship and all?
As I said, rural tourism has many activities, right? So, as an entrepreneur, you have as many opportunities, as many activities are there. The activity starts from food, accommodation, to other participatory actions that you take part in, that the tourist takes part in. Let me give you the example of this village called the cleanest village in Asia, Mao Long in Meghalaya. So when people travel from Shillong to this village, which also has the route bridge, the famous route bridge, just before you enter the village, there is a canteen in which you can eat, or restaurant, or a food spot, whatever you say. And the ladies of the village run this food spot in which all the tourists come, stay, eat, and then go inside the village, because travel from Shillong to the village is a long journey by road, and by the time you reach the village you are hungry. In hill stations you move around, you are hungry. Shillong, Meghalaya and Maolong, and they are all hill areas. So right from providing food at the entry of the village, which is run by the villagers, you have an opportunity to earn money. Then you have accommodation. There are homestays, there are cottages, there are so many options. Then you have activities, whether it is learning how to do a milking of a cow. Somebody who is allowing you to milk the cow is obviously earning a money, or somebody who is teaching you how to go for fishing. So there are many such activities which happen, and at each activity, whether you are a porter, because some of the villages like in Uttarakhand, they are high up in the altitude, and porters have to carry material from the plains to the hills. So that is also a job activity, a opportunity to earn money. If one person wants to go for trekking, they need a guide. That also needs experience. Guiding is also an activity, and for that also it's an opportunity to earn money and to be a specialist in that.
So what we can make out is it creates new sources of income generation, creates more employment opportunities for the local people, and also it the focus here is on the example that you gave. जो आपने अभी example दिया, उससे क्या है कि एक rural area को आप कैसे डेवलप करें, एक टोटल रूरल टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन के रूप में आप उसको पूरा डेवलप कर रहे हैं, और उससे क्या है पूरा कम्युनिटी का डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है पूरा.
इसमें हमें एक चीज़ समझना होगा जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है, कि हम इसमें रूरल एरिया को जब हम कभी भी डेवलपमेंट की बात कहते हैं तो हम हमेशा सोचते हैं कि उस जगह की हम तस्वीर बदल दें. रूरल टूरिज्म एक ऐसी चीज़ है जहाँ पे हम जब डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं, परिवर्तन की बात करते हैं, तो हम उसका जो अपना अस्तित्व है उसको मिटा के नहीं करते हैं. सो वी आर कीपिंग द होल कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ रूरलिटी अलाइव. दैट्स हाउ it's important.
So it is a time to take a short break. We will meet you after the break.
Hello learners, are you interested in pursuing a career in environmental health and management or occupational health and safety? Here is a program for you. IGNOU launches a new program, a postgraduate diploma in environmental and occupational health. This program is a postgraduate diploma program with 40 credits, and the medium of instruction is in English. The minimum duration for completion of this program is 1 year, and it can also be completed in a maximum of 3 years. The target group for this program would be professionals who are working in the environmental and the occupational sector, in non-governmental organizations, employees who are working in the industrial setup, in the occupational sector, and those from the Central Pollution Control Board, and also from the doctors, the nurses, and the paramedical graduates and other employees. The job opportunities for this program is tremendous. You find opportunities in the health sector as the environmental health and safety specialist, as environmental toxicologist, as workplace wellness site coordinators, and as environmental health and the safety specialist. The objectives of this program would be to define the physical, the chemical, and the biological hazards, and also the various environmental hazards that we observe. Then we will discuss the impact of these hazards and also the occupational health hazards in general. We would also learn to identify the management of these hazards, and finally we will discuss the laws, the policies, and the management techniques for them same. This program consists of 10 different courses, and all these 10 courses are compulsory. The instructional system at IGNOU follows the audio-video approach. We have the teleconferencing sessions and also the assignments, which are an integral component of this program. The evaluation would be 30% for the assignments and 70% for the term end examinations. The program coordinators for this program are Professor B. Rupini, Dr. Sushmita Bhaskar, and Professor Ruchika Cuba from the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies and from the School of Health Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. The details where you can log into this program are ignoadmission.samarth.edu.in. Welcome to this program.
स्वागत है आपका ब्रेक के बाद। तो चर्चा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम बात कर रहे थे रूरल टूरिज्म में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ के बारे में। प्रोफेसर पारमिता, हम कई बार सुनते हैं रूरल टूरिज्म के कंटेक्स्ट में देयर आर होम स्टेज ऑल्सो, पीपल आर टेकिंग अप होम स्टेज एज अ मीन्स ऑफ means promoting rural tourism. So could you please highlight something about
Yes, see, that is also one of the things that we have observed, that we very often see that homestays and rural tourism are interconnected and all. So I would not say that they are not interconnected. They play a role. हम जब भी टूरिज़्म की बात करते हैं हमें याद रखना पड़ेगा कि 2-3 चीज़ें हैं जिसके बिना टूरिज़्म नहीं हो सकता है। जैसे आपके रहने की जगह, आपके पहुंचने के लिए रास्ता चाहिए, आपको वहाँ पे जाके खाना चाहिए, आपको रहने की जगह चाहिए, आपको कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ चाहिए जो कि हम एज ऑफ टूरिज़्म कहते हैं ना। अट्रैक्शन हो, अट्रैक्शन विलेज है जिसके लिए आप जा रहे हैं, एक्सेसिबिलिटी, रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट कुछ भी हो, एकोमोडेशन, वहाँ पे जाके आप रहेंगे कहाँ, एंड एमिनिटीज़, चाहे वो खाना हो, चाहे डॉक्टर हो, चाहे जो भी फैसिलिटी आपको चाहिए, और एक्टिविटीज़, वहाँ जाके आप करेंगे क्या, राइट। सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट ये सब चीज़ें बहुत ज़रूरी है रूरल टूरिज्म के लिए भी. सो व्हेन वी स्पीक ऑफ होम स्टे पर्टिकुलरली इज़ द प्रोवाइडिंग ऑफ एकोमोडेशन टू द टूरिस्ट. सो it's a component of rural tourism, it is not the basis of rural tourism. होम स्टे अगर रूरल एरिया में हो तो वो रूरल होम स्टे हो जाता है, पर वही होम स्टे हम देखते हैं कि अर्बन सेटअप में भी दिया जाता है ना. अर्बन सेटअप में भी अगर होम स्टे हो तो हम उसको तो नहीं बोलेंगे कि रूरल एरिया के लिए काम कर रहा है. सो होम स्टे इज जस्ट प्रोवाइडिंग form of accommodation for them to stay, the tourists to stay. So homestay can be one of the factors in rural tourism but not ऑल अबाउट रूरल टूरिज्म. जब हम रूरल टूरिज्म की बात करते हैं हम देखते हैं कि एकोमोडेशन काफ़ी तरीके से दिया जाता है. देयर आर डिफरेंट मॉडल्स ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग एकोमोडेशन टू द टूरिस्ट विजिटिंग दिस विलेजेस, like the concept of homestay, right? People go for developing homestays since government gives a lot of initiative, money, financial help initially to develop this homestay in your home or nearby places in on your land, right? So that you have a homestay facility. So with the government support, people go for homestays. That is one aspect of homestay which has become a part of rural tourism. आप कुछ आप देखेंगे जगहों पे जहाँ पे होम स्टे चलता है, लाइक सिक्किम में जाते हैं तो आप देखेंगे कि होम स्टे का कॉन्सेप्ट है. हिमाचल में भी है, उत्तराखंड में भी है. कुछ NGOs हैं जो होम स्टे को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, लाइक मुंशियारी में है जो मैं आपको बता रही थी, लेडीज़ का है वहाँ पे, बिनसर, मुंशियारी, इन सब जगहों में है. फिर जो मैं आपको बता रही थी बकरी छाप का, उसमें भी होम स्टेज़ का है. पर वहीं पे हम विलेज वेज की बात करते हैं, ATDC की बात करते हैं महाराष्ट्र में, तो उसमें होम स्टे का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है. इट हैज़ गॉट मोर ऑफ अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कम्युनिटी प्लेस फॉर टूरिस्ट टू स्टे. इसमें हमने देखा है कि ATDC में भी देखा है कुछ जगहों में वो होम स्टे भी करते हैं, कम्युनिटी स्पेस भी करते हैं. हमने सिक्किम में भी देखा है ऐसे रूरल टूरिज्म के सेटअप में. हमने उत्तराखंड और बाकी जगहों में भी देखा है विलेज वेज वगैरह में कि दे क्रिएट सम कॉमन स्पेस, लाइक कुछ कॉटेजेस हो जाते हैं या गेस्ट हाउसेज हो जाते हैं इन विच द टूरिस्ट गोज एंड स्टेज. दिस गेस्ट हाउसेज और गेस्ट रूम्स और दिस कॉटेजेस आर टेकन केयर बाय द विलेज काउंसिल फॉर टूरिज्म. ये नाम मैंने ही बोला है, मतलब एवरी विलेज हैज़ देयर ओन टाइप ऑफ नेम फॉर इट. But basically it's a tourism community or it is a tourism council which takes care of these cottages or these guest houses where the tourist will come. So you might say that means only some people will get the chance to look after the tourist. No, there is a method to this madness. They will have groups of people looking after these cottages. तो मान लीजिए आज ये 4 परिवारों ने मिलके गेस्ट्स को देखा जो इन कॉटेजेस में या इस गेस्ट हाउस में रह रहे हैं. नेक्स्ट टर्न में नेक्स्ट 4 या 2 परिवार देखेंगे. इस तरीके से वो बाय सर्कल होता रहेगा. एंड इन दिस वे एवरीबडी और एवरी पर्सन इन द विलेज गेट्स अ चांस टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ लुकिंग आफ्टर द गेस्ट्स हु कम एंड स्टेज इन दिस कॉटेजेस और गेस्ट हाउसेज व्हाट माइट बी प्रेवलेंट इन दैट विलेज. इसके साथ ही साथ ये भी हो जाता है कि आपको जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी मिलती है, क्योंकि अगर एक टूरिस्ट काउंसिल होगा या कम्युनिटी होगी उसमें आप देखेंगे कि ट्रेजरर होगा, अकाउंटेंट होगा, एक होगा जो आपका इलेक्ट्रॉनिक या IT रिलेटेड काम देखेगा. तो इन दैट वे दैट whole business center will be created which will also give job opportunities to the people with more education. So the reverse migration that we are hoping for happens here. राइट. इसके साथ ही साथ हम ये भी देखते हैं कि कुछ जगहों में ऐसा भी कॉन्सेप्ट होता है कुछ रूरल टूरिज्म के उसमें कि होम स्टे का ही होता है कॉन्सेप्ट, बट देर इज़ ए कॉमन फैक्टर इन दिस प्रोसेस. There will be a common center. All the tourists will ask for accommodation from this common point and they will decide, okay, last time इनके यहाँ के guests रुके थे, this time in this place, this homestay, the guest will come and stay. Although they do not have a common space or guest house or cottage where the guests are coming and staying, but still they have a process that every time guest will not stay at the same house. Guest will stay at different homestays which will make sure that everybody involved in the rural tourism activity gets a piece of the pie, right? ताकि सबको कुछ ना कुछ मिले, सबकी आमदनी हो, नहीं तो बराबरी नहीं होती है. तो होम स्टे इज़ अ गुड वे ऑफ अर्निंग मनी, बट मॉडल वेरी करता है. हर विलेज का मॉडल अलग होता है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ और हु इज हेल्पिंग द विलेज ग्रो एंड डेवलप. गवर्नमेंट का है, एनजीओ के साथ है, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप है, कौन इन्वॉल्व है उसमें डेवलपमेंट में, और कौन सा मॉडल उस गांव के लिए सबसे अच्छा है. इट विल ऑल डिपेंड ऑन दैट. सो yes, accommodation is a very important factor because accommodation के साथ साथ आपका खाना भी आ जाता है, right? तो there will be a cook involved. There will be somebody who is looking after the maintenance during the time the guest is there in the house. So इन सब चीज़ों को देखते हुए एक ग्रुप बनाया जाता है जो देखता है, देखभाल करता है और इंश्योर करता है कि सारा विलेज जो भी उस रूरल टूरिज्म एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व हो. क्योंकि मैं फिर से कहूँगी कि हो सकता है कि विलेज में आपके गांव में 2-4 परिवार ऐसा हो जो नहीं इन्वॉल्व होना चाहता है, और हो भी सकता है कि 10 परिवार हैं तो 10 के 10 ही इन्वॉल्व हैं. तो सब तक रूरल टूरिज्म की आमदनी पहुँचे, इसके लिए काफ़ी सारे मॉडल्स अपनाए जाते हैं, बिजनेस मॉडल्स.
जब हम रूरल टूरिज्म सेक्टर की बात करते हैं तो हम देखते हैं कि वो इनकम जनरेशन की और एम्पावरमेंट की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ प्रोवाइड करता है, और स्पेशली फोकस जो है हम अभी जो गवर्नमेंट का है वो है वुमेन की तरफ, हाउ वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स कैन बी प्रमोटेड इन द एरिया ऑफ रूरल टूरिज्म. सो कैन यू से समथिंग अबाउट दिस थिंग?
हाँ, मैं इसमें आपको ज़रूर बताना चाहूँगी. It has been observed that rural tourism can play a very important role in women empowerment. The ground reality may vary from place to place, but there are some examples that I would like to share with you. We have a place, one of the tour operators or one of the NGOs which works in the area of rural tourism is also known as grassroots. Okay. It's not ROOTS, it's you can say grass routes also, because okay. ROUTS. So they are also involved in this, and they have a concept of interacting with the lady of the house who is preparing the food, authentic food. So the woman is also a very much important part of the rural tourism activities. So in that way, woman plays a role in this whole thing. Like I was talking about Munsiari, Binsar and all that area. Many of the women who were not going out of the house to earn a living, although there are stories, how they were widowed and they did not have a chance to earn a living because they never had gone out of the house to earn a living. So when the homestays came, they either built a room next to their house कि अपने घर के आंगन में ही कमरा बन जाए पर अंदर ना हो, या फिर उनके पास कोई अपना कमरा रहा हो जो गेस्ट को दे सकते हैं. कुछ विलेजेस में ऐसा भी रहा है कि एक कॉमन गेस्ट हाउस सेट का बनाया गया है जो सबने देखभाल किया है, एंड होम स्टेज में लोग आके उनके यहाँ रुके हैं, और महिलाएं जो घर से बाहर कभी गई नहीं थी, विडोड थी, एंड दे हैड टू गेट ए चांस टू अर्न ए मनी. So this homestay and rural tourism gave them a lot of chance for that. Like I read a story about one family in which she was a single mother. She was looking after the guests, and it is a story of Munsiari. And people started going there, and there the people who were coming and staying at her homestay, her son was taking them for adventure activities. So the son was also employed. She was another son was probably a porter and bringing the stuff. And she was cooking and looking after the guest, but that's it. Your cleaning and all the guest has to do themselves. The guest was very interested in the wool and the woolen clothes that she was knitting. So what led to it was she started knitting for the guests. So now, along with having a homestay and an adventure tourism boy who was taking there for tracking, she also started knitting, which she started selling to the guests. The knitting was very small things, it was a small scarf or a muffler or a cap, but it was a earning opportunity. And yes, financial freedom always leads to some sort of empowerment. There are some other interesting cases as well. I have given the example of Village Ways, who create the concept of tourism councils in each village, which takes care of the village activities in that. In that tourism council, it is mandatory that 30% of the members is always the woman of the family, because this council has one member from each family which participates in the activities in the village, and 30% mandatorily is the role of the woman, because she looks after the guests when they come to the house, cooks, interacts with them as well. So yes, it gives the women a chance to see and meet people from other sectors, other places, and this gives her an opportunity to be more knowledgeable. Knowledge also adds a role in being empowered. So in this way, we have many such opportunities.
It also
of
provides
doing that.
opportunity for recognition of their contribution to the community also.
Exactly. It is a very important role for them to earn a living, at the same time interact with people from other places so that they know what is the boundary or where there is no boundary. So it is very important for them.
Yeah, and we have numerous examples. There are women who are doing acting as guides for hiking tours. They are providing tours to the
Yes, of
tourists.
course, of course. But I was talking only about how even the remotest of the remote village, because all the villages which are having rural tourism does not appear on the highway or right next to the highways.
Very true.
Some of them are in the remotest of the places, like the last village on the border of India Tibet, the last village on the border of India China, last village on the border of India Bhutan. So on the top of the mountains, or it might be in the edge of the ocean. So the last village, or as I'm saying, the remotest part. So in that remotest part, maybe they do not have as many opportunities of knowledge. But when more people come and the women gets a chance to interact with them, then it helps a lot, and it also gives them a financial independence and not be dependent on others. So yes, rural tourism can play a very important role in the empowerment of women in the rural areas. But here I may also add, in some places it has been observed through some research studies that many a times the places are in jointly run by the husband and wife, and the wife has very little or no role to play in that. The husband takes more interest, since she is more interested in taking care of the family. So somewhere in the line we think that the women also needs to be motivated. It's always opportunities, giving opportunities to them through government or through NGOs is not the only thing that is needed. They also need to be educated and motivated to participate in this activity.
This is the must for any entrepreneur. You need
Yes.
that passion and that drive, that motivation.
And you also
should be
need
there.
to be educated कि हाँ भाई ये चीज़ें हैं, ऑप्शंस हैं, दूसरे लोग कर रहे हैं, आप भी कर सकते हैं, और नहीं भी कर रहे हैं दूसरे लोग तो आप करके दिखाइए.
बट कई जगह इस चीज के लिए उन्हें ट्रेनिंग भी दिया जा रहा है. रूरल फोक्स को
ये आप
ट्रेनिंग
सही
दिया
कह
जा रहा
रहे
है.
हैं.
स्किल्स की लैंग्वेज, बेसिक लैंग्वेज स्किल्स दी जा रही हैं, और कुकिंग स्किल्स भी उनकी इनहेंस की जा रही हैं.
These are see, whenever this schemes of rural tourism development comes, government of India wants to implement them, and of course government cannot go and implement them themselves, right? They have PPP models, they have self-help groups, they have NGOs who they partner with. These NGOs have CBT models, they have capacity building training programs. All the NGOs that I have been talking about till now, or whether it is ATDC, Village Way, Bakri Chhap, or it is the Munsiari, Sarmola, or the this Spiti Ecosphere, or other there is one very well known rural tourism organization in Kerala, which has been also promoted in TEDx and all. That is Kadambini, I believe. Kadambini, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting the name completely. They are all into capacity building. They train the villagers how to bring about changes in their lifestyle, how to incorporate maybe they do a certain thing in a certain way. So introducing Western toilets in villages, so that if foreigners come to the village, they can use the Western toilet.
They
So,
need all this
yes.
information,
So
knowledge.
the villagers are being, this is not their way of life.
Right.
So to introduce this way of life to the villages, this requires training. How food is to be served.
राइट, आई वाज कमिंग टू दैट कि उनको बेसिक हॉस्पिटैलिटी की ट्रेनिंग भी, स्किल्स की जो है
सब
वो
दिया
भी
जाता है.
training
जैसे मैं
की
कह रही हूँ
जरूरत
आपको,
है.
केरला इज डन वेरी वेल इन दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिज्म के उनको इतने अवार्ड्स मिल चुके हैं, एंड दे हैव डन अ वेरी गुड जॉब इन ट्रेनिंग देयर पीपल. ऐसे ही आप सिक्किम में देखिए, वहाँ पे होम स्टेज बहुत अच्छा चलता है, रूरल टूरिज्म बहुत अच्छा
वहाँ
चलता है।
शायद ऑर्गेनिक एग्रो टूरिज्म भी है
वो ऑर्गेनिक इज देयर strong say तो that they call themselves the organic state. So उसमें भी उनको ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है. Government has an active role and they have identified partners to impart the training. Similarly आप केरला में भी देख सकते हैं. ऐसे उत्तराखंड में जैसे मैंने इतने सारे आपको NGOs के नाम लिए जिसके साथ मिलके ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है. और ऐसे ही हम नॉर्थ ईस्ट में भी देख रहे हैं हम कि बहुत सारे ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जो देते हैं ट्रेनिंग. लाइक आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट दैट क्लीनेस्ट विलेज, वैसे ही वहाँ पे एक ग्रीनेस्ट विलेज भी है. एंड इन दैट विलेज it has been recognized as the greenest village. That village is now become a talk of the town because कभी वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा हंटिंग होता था, आज हंटिंग बिल्कुल ख़त्म हो गया है. एंड दे हैव स्टार्टेड प्रिजर्विंग द वाइल्ड लाइफ एंड द नेचर बिकॉज टूरिज्म इज डूइंग अ ग्रेट थिंग इन देम. सो यस.
अच्छा, इसमें एक क्वेश्चन और भी आता है कि हम लोग डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज की बात करते हैं.
हाँ जी.
तो रूरल टूरिज्म में डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज कैसे क्या रोल प्ले कर रही हैं? सम एप्स आल्सो माइट बी बीइंग डेवलप्ड इन दिस एरिया.
हाँ,
कि अगर कोई एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप लेना चाहता है, कोई हमारा स्टूडेंट हो, तो वो सोच सकता है कि मैं ऐप डेवलप कर लूँ और कोई ऐसा स्टार्टअप खोलूँ, कुछ समथिंग लाइक दैट.
देखिए, आज के ज़माने में ICT के बिना तो कुछ भी काम नहीं होता है और ऐप्स भी बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया है. हमारी पूरी ज़िंदगी तो मोबाइल में सिमट के रह गई है. सो वी वांट एवरीथिंग इन आवर हैंड्स, राइट, इन थ्रू द ऐप्स एंड ऑल. See, I would like to say it is not just the apps that are playing a very important role in rural tourism. Marketing is being done primarily through internet, through the websites. आप कोई भी जिनकी भी मैंने बात की, आप किसी को भी देख लीजिए, दे हैव अ वेरी गुड इंटरनेट प्रेजेंस. चाहे वो ग्रास रूट्स हो, चाहे ATDC हो, चाहे आप ये इकोस्फेयर का ले लीजिए, स्पीति इकोस्फेयर, चाहे आप सरमोला विलेज का ले लीजिए, बिनसर का ले लीजिए, मुंसियारी का ले लीजिए, विलेज वेज ले लीजिए, बकरी चाप ले लीजिए, कादमी ले लीजिए. ऑल ऑफ देम आर डूइंग वेरी वेल ऑन द वेबसाइट, ऑन द इंटरनेट. इन सब का बहुत अच्छा वेब प्रेजेंस है जिसके थ्रू वो मार्केटिंग करते हैं. वो अपने टारगेट मार्केट को आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं और उसके थ्रू अपने टूरिस्ट को लेके आते हैं, रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिस्ट को, टू दिस विलेजेस. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा, कुछ तो बहुत रिमोट विलेजेस हैं. सो somebody needs to be really motivated to go to these villages. To identify them also, you need a proper marketing plan which takes place using the help of all these different apps and of course the internet. Social marketing is also very important, social media marketing. आप देखते हैं vlogs बनते हैं, blogs बनते हैं, TikTok reels बनती हैं, IG की reels बनती हैं, and you have to understand which influencer is going to get to your target market. So influencers का भी रोल बहुत ज़्यादा है सोशल मीडिया का रूरल टूरिज्म के लिए आज के दिन में, खास करके क्योंकि विलेजेस तो हमारे पास बहुत हैं. अब इतने विलेजेस हैं हमारे पास, तो हमें भी टारगेट करना कि लोग हमारे ही विलेज में आए, हमारे ही गांव में आए, उसके लिए सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है. और फाइनली जो आपने कहा ऐप्स की बात, हाँ, ऐप्स भी बहुत सारे हैं. आप देखेंगे कि एक ऐप तो एक रूरल ईज करके कुछ टाइम के लिए ऐप आया था, एक रूरल टूरिज्म करके ऐप है, बट इफ़ यू चेक इट, रूरल टूरिज्म ऐप इज़ फ्रॉम मलेशिया. So they give you an idea where the rural tourism is being taking place across the country and how you can choose it. एक इंडिया में है कुछ विलेज पंचायत करके शायद. सो मुझे शायद इसलिए बोल रही हूँ, मैं भूल गई कि उसका नाम ग्राम पंचायत है कि विलेज पंचायत है. देयर आर सो मेनी ऑफ देम. फिर एक और नया भी आया है अभी रिसेंटली, उसको कहते हैं GOG, GOG, गैंग्स ऑफ ग्रीमपुर करके. सो उन सब में वो ये बताते हैं कि किस तरीके से आप एक रूरल टूरिज्म के होम स्टे को बुक कर सकते हैं ऐप के थ्रू. फ़ोन पे आपको कांटेक्ट मिल जाएगा आपका जो भी होम स्टे प्रोवाइडर है या जो विलेज का कोऑर्डिनेटर है उसके साथ आप कांटेक्ट कर पाएंगे। उसी के साथ आपको आने जाने की सुविधा है, जो भी आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन है आपको वेबसाइट में जाके ईमेल डालना या कॉल करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आप ऐप के थ्रू ही सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन ले सकते हैं। और हाँ, अगर हमारा कोई स्टूडेंट इंटरेस्टेड है रूरल टूरिज़्म में और वो चाहता है कि हाँ मैं इसमें काम करूँ, बट आई एम नॉट फ्रॉम द टूरिज्म बैकग्राउंड, एंड इफ़ यू हैव अ बैकग्राउंड इन infotech, then probably you can also come up with an app which fills up some gap which is still there in the area of rural tourism.
यहाँ पर हम एक चीज़ और हाईलाइट करना चाहेंगे. सपोज एनी स्टूडेंट वांट्स टू टेक अप स्टार्टअप इन द एरिया ऑफ रूरल टूरिज्म, तो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि सबसे पहले आप कोई एरिया आइडेंटिफाई कीजिए जिसमें आप काम करना चाहते हैं. टारगेट ऑडियंस को आप आइडेंटिफाई कीजिए. यू वांट टू अट्रैक्ट फैमिलीज, कपल्स, एडवेंचर सीकर्स. किस तरह का टारगेट मार्केट आप फोकस में रख रहे हैं. उसके बाद आप लोकल टूरिज्म मार्केट को असेस कीजिए कि आप कौन से अट्रैक्शन जो हैं वो अवेलेबल हैं और आप क्या उस मार्केट में गैप्स हैं, आप क्या नया ऑफर कर सकते हैं. व्हाट इज़ द यूनिक सेलिंग पॉइंट दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट एंड विच यू कैन ऑफर टू द टारगेटेड मार्केट. उसके बाद आपको क्या करना है, ये यूनिक सेलिंग पॉइंट अपना डेवलप करना है जिससे कि आपका जो टूरिज्म का बिजनेस है वो स्टैंड आउट करे. ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कंपटीशन में.
हाँ, मैं इसमें ऐड करना चाहूँगी.
जी बिल्कुल.
अगर कोई भी है जिसको रूरल टूरिज्म डेवलप करना है, सबसे पहले तो उसको ये ध्यान में रख के चलना पड़ेगा कि मार्केट में अभी बहुत सारे आए हैं.
बिल्कुल.
आपको काफ़ी टाइम तक तो थोड़ा स्ट्रगल करना पड़ेगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
आपको इतना होना चाहिए, यू शुड हैव द फाइनेंशियल बैकिंग either from the government agencies or you should have your own finances to start something like that. जैसे आपने कहा यूएसपी देना है, यूएसपी के साथ साथ मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगी कि जो ऑलरेडी मार्केट में काम कर रहा है, आप किसी ना किसी के साथ जाके 6 महीने इंटर्नशिप करके आइए. आप किसी भी रूरल टूरिज्म के एनजीओ के साथ इंटर्नशिप करके आइए 6 महीने, तब आपको थोड़ा सा आइडिया हो जाएगा कि क्या चीज़ें टूरिस्ट को अच्छी लगती हैं, क्या नहीं लगती हैं, और क्या ऐसा है जो मेरे गांव में है और मैं यूएसपी की तरह उसको प्रमोट कर सकता हूँ.
बिल्कुल. तो इससे क्या होगा कि यू कैन क्रिएट सम मेमोरेबल एक्सपीरियंसेस. जब आप सोचने बैठेंगे कि क्या नया मैं बनाऊं और कैसा पैकेज तैयार करूं.
मैं इसमें एक एग्जांपल देना चाहूंगी. डॉक्टर सुजाता, आई एम सो सॉरी.
No.
देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट व्हिच हैज बीन डेवलप्ड एज थीमेटिक विलेजेस, यू नो.
या
उसमें ऐसा कहा जा रहा है जैसे एक विलेज है, उसको बोला गया है द वुमेन विलेज. द वुमेन विलेज जो अभी है उसमें एक फेस्टिवल होता है, घसियारी फेस्टिवल. उसमें महिलाएं पार्टिसिपेट करती हैं कि घास कौन सबसे ज़्यादा तेज काट सकता है, खाना कौन बना सकता है. सो इन दैट वे दे हैव ब्रांडेड देमसेल्फ एज द वुमेन विलेज. वैसे ही एक मध्य प्रदेश में विलेज है जिसने अपने आप को ब्रांड किया है एज अ स्टोन विलेज. ऐसे ही एक ने ब्रांड किया आपको वो स्वयंवर विलेज. ऐसे ही किसी ने अपने आप को किसी और तरीके से ब्रांड किया है. ब्रांड आइडेंटिटी दे के उन्होंने एक थीम दे दिया विलेज को, तो अपना एक यूएसपी बना लिया और उसी थीम पे लोगों के सामने वो आते रहते हैं कि हाँ, this is our USP and that is how we are working.
Students can focus on authentic local culture also, कि कल्चर में क्या नया है जो आप एज अ पैकेज टूरिस्ट को ऑफर कर सकते हैं. यू कैन प्रोवाइड अ कंफर्टेबल एंड कल्चरली सेंसिटिव एकोमोडेशन ऑल्सो. जब ये आपका हो जाए, यू प्रिपेयर अ बिजनेस प्लान एंड यू think about marketing and promotion, how you are going to establish a strong online presence, and you can use digital technologies for marketing. So this way you can focus on having a business or setting up a business of your own in the area of rural tourism. With this, anything you would like for our students before winding up?
Yes, I would like them to go for rural tourism development. It's one area which has ample scope. In case you are not able to come up with all the facilities yourself, talk with an expert, talk to somebody in the field who is already there. If your village tourism areas and activities are well developed, attach yourself with one of the organizations and let them do your marketing. But start. Once you take the initiative, the first step, it always begins with you. Rest of the things follows.
And lastly,
Be the risk taker.
Lastly, keep the local rural community in focus.
Yes, rural tourism means whole community is involved.
So with this, we conclude today's session. Thanks to our expert and our audience for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you.